Hey, thanks so much for checking out the Talent Accelerator. My name is Dan Horgan, founder and CEO of the DG Horgan Group, also the author of the book Tell Me I Can't and I Will. Today I want to share with you 4 quick tips to make you a more effective networker. You know, I remember when I first started in college and I would meet with a career advisor who told me, get out there and network as frequently as you can and get your hands on as many business cards as you possibly can as well. And I used to think to myself, you know, as someone who's not super comfortable going up to complete strangers and sparking conversation, what is the ultimate purpose of all of these networking exchanges, and what is the ultimate purpose of, you know, collecting all these cards? I felt like I was a kid again collecting baseball cards. And so then I had a mentor who really told me that at the end of the day, it's not about just general networking. A lot of times you have to go into the networking experience with tip number 1, which is a clear objective. I call it impact networking now. So focus in on what it is that you want to achieve from attending a networking event. So for example, you might be going to explore a specific industry. You might want to better understand from multiple points of view where the industry trends are today. You might want to understand where the big roadblocks, the big challenges that industry is facing. Or you just might want to broaden your network of contacts within that field as you think about a potential career change down the road. So tip number one is go into your networking exchanges with a clear objective in mind. Know what it is that you want to get out of that experience. Tip number 2 is when you're interacting with people at a networking event, focus on giving more than you get. So Adam Grant, professor at the Wharton School of Business, wrote this book, Give or Take, right? Give and Take. Great book that really talks about leaders, successful leaders. Individuals are people who are out there giving with no strings attached. They're not the ones that are taking the sort of me mentality. And they're not even the people that he terms matchers, people that it's sort of like a reciprocal process. I give, but I also want to get something in exchange. What he says from his research is the more you give, the more you learn, you grow, and you connect to other people. And so what I want to say in terms of effective networking is when you're meeting new people, seek to identify all of the opportunities in which you can add value based on your skills, your strengths, your experiences, or the contacts in your own personal network. Which leads me to tip number 3. In order to uncover the real meat of how it is that you can add value for someone, you've got to be able to ask great questions that really surface some of that great content, the context that you need to be able to identify the value that you can offer. So many of us, when we go to networking events, will hear the same question over and over and over again. So what do you do? Or what do you think of this particular industry? Or what got you started in this particular field, right? Instead, think of differentiating questions that go below the surface. So it's not, what do you do? But instead it's, so what excites you about what you do? What are you most passionate about when it comes to the work that you do every day? What are some of your biggest challenges within the industry in which you work? From a trends standpoint, what are some of the trends that are coming to the surface within your field or within your industry as a whole? Those types of questions will start to uncover the real context of helping you figure out how you can add value to the people that you're connecting to. In order to be able to do that effectively, to ask those differentiating questions, it leads me to tip number 4, which is make sure that you're actively listening. Once you ask your great question, make sure that you're listening to understand the response versus listening to reply. In other words, you're not staring around the room looking to see who you're going to talk to next. You're very much present in the moment, in that networking exchange, seeking to make a connection with the person that's standing across from you. The more you actively listen, not just with your eyes and your body language, showing them that you really truly care and that you're authentically interested in what it is that they're sharing with you, the more likely it is that you'll uncover those sweet spots in which you can add value to that individual and the longer term relationship that you're on the road to creating instead of a short-term transaction or even a short-term exchange with that person that's going to end quickly that night of your networking event. So those are 4 quick tips to help you be more effective in any sort of networking experience that you may find yourself in. We'll see you next time on the Talent Accelerator. Thanks so much for tuning in.